Right, though, then let us get all of this stuff up. And then let's get the resolution to look a little bit more pretty. I don't know if he played in 4K or if he's just uploaded it in 4K, because I can kind of tell from the UI, because we know how the UI doesn't work well with 4K, so I'm assuming this is 1080p, but still. We'll see. And again, maybe we'll get something out of this, but I guess, yeah, let's find out. I think one of those having not been familiar with the style of content or the content, I'm going to make an assumption that the title isn't accusatory, it's more just the series name, you know? I don't think it's a personal attack, but I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's 36 minutes. Maybe Ghost will be ready by the time we're done. Oh, I muted YouTube, didn't I? Yeah, it's one of those things. Is like I can't remember this channel I follow, but it's like, oh yeah, so I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a movie review thing. It's called Caravan of Garbage, and it's like not actually saying stuff is terrible. It's just more it's just a series name, you know. If anything, it kind of gets more clicks, doesn't it? All right, let's scroll out back to the beginning. Thank you, YouTube. Maybe I'll lower it to 1080p. My internet is terrible. How to find this out? Maybe if I click play, it'll just work.
Why didn't they just fly the eagles to Mordor? Right,
good question.
Now there are thousands of people writing angry comments. Let's play Lord of the Rings Online. Join me as I adventure through the lands of Middle-earth, hunting bandits around Bree, waging war on the wargs of the wood, and then showing Elrond my balloon. Truly the stuff of legends. Also, you can play as an orc, which sounds fun, but is actually rubbish. Ladies and gentlemen,
I agree.
Welcome. I'm Josh Hayes, and this is Worst
Monster
MMO
Play
Ever.
is
a
terrible.
Show where I play every MMO I can find in a journey to find the
in my
worst.
opinion.
Drop a like on the vid or sub to the channel for more MMO stuff. Ring the bell for all the future notifications. And as usual, a massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel alive.
I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be doing some more stuff with Monster Play, but I guess we'll see.
Lord of the Rings, one of the greatest...
It's a bit quiet. Oh, I might need to... I always forget my stuff's like super quiet in comparison. Tell me how this is.
Adventure
it's really loud in my ear.
Written. It's up there with the timeless classics like Treasure Island, Around the World in 80 Days, or Morning's End Part 2. And after the...
two of those I've never watched. One of them is a RuneScape quest. I know that much.
Record-breaking success of the films, it seemed only right it would eventually get an MMORPG release set in Middle-earth. Now, Lord of the Rings Online has been out for quite a while, releasing back in 2007, and while it's never quite managed to break into the top MMOs, it's remained consistently popular.
I guess I'll pause. Like, that's the, you know, makes sense. But I think it was at one point, right? I read a thing the other day. I can't remember if I read or watched a video on it, but I'm pretty sure it said at one point it was like within the top 5. Right? But I also think that's a situation where MMOs were less, you know, there's a dime a dozen now. But I get the point. It's not like up there with... Okay. I don't know if this is a fair assumption. I'm going to count how many times... This might be unfair, but let's see how many times WoW is compared. And I always get it. I understand it was released at the same time, but let's see. It does get a little bit tiring after a little while. There was someone even on the Lotro subreddit the other day being like, "WoW clone," and I'm like, "Why are you here?" Maybe because I'm not really a WoW player. I don't know.
With a hardcore player base.
Well, it'll be good if it is. I think it's an over...
And actually giving away a surprising...
Sorry, I need to go back.
To break into the top MMOs, it's remained consistently popular with a hardcore player base all this time. And now it's on Steam, and actually giving away a surprising amount of content for free.
Little nitpick. That makes it sound like it's only just been released on Steam. It has been on Steam since 2012. Not that I think that's a big deal. Just saying.
So let's give it a go. It does, however...
Why does it also look like absolute garbage, or is it just my internet? Nope, it's just apparently YouTube is being garbage on me.
Server seems so focused on giving away content it forgot to give away the desktop icon when you download it from Steam.
I've also had that issue on the Lotro machine. It's good to know that I'm not the only one. This launcher, I know I've said about it a couple of times recently, is so problematic. Error screens are, very prevalent that don't make sense. There's also the fact that when I was installing it on the Lotro machine, basically, I relaunched my computer, not this computer, but my main, the Lotro machine. I relaunched it, hadn't changed a thing. I had to restart. And then I double-clicked on the launcher on my desktop, and it went, this is a shortcut to a program that no longer exists. Would you like to delete it? Or whatever it says. I went into it. I had to, repair it, and then it makes you re-download the whole thing. The launcher, I don't touch it. It's very problematic. I had to go into 32-bit at some point, and at least it tells you about it now and goes, hey, by the way, you don't use that. But the launcher is certainly one of my peeves with the game at the moment, and has been for a little long time. I really wish or hope for it to be eventually sorted. Maybe I'll get someone to work on it.
So we launch this bit of paper with a folded over corner and then get started. The first thing you see is a full screen advert for the cash shop. Not the strongest of starts. Character creation.
To be fair, I agree. That is why I've actually replaced all of those, because I think I don't think it's a good look to have it on stream. I've actually joked about making it like a follow button for Twitch, because you can at least change them. But I will have slight defense in Lotro, and this isn't like a, too big. This is technically not necessarily for the shop. It's for the, it's not for the Lotro store. It's the double points promotion. Not that makes a difference. Not that excuses it. One slight thing.
Screen advert for the cash shop. Not the strongest of starts.
But again, fully agree. They're quite hard on that. I think it's hopefully a remnant of an older age, because they hopefully do a little less shilling, basically, with the update 33 changes. I think they just haven't sort of swapped out correctly yet, because that is a very old image.
Character creation. 7 races to choose from. Some classes are only available to certain races, but in a really nice touch, each race has an optional intro movie you can watch, which describes their history and a bit about them.
Men and women of Beorn's line
and the
possess the power to
quality
take the shape of mighty and fearsome bears.
Is up there.
As their wrath increases, so too do the strength and capabilities.
I don't think I've ever watched the Beyonding intro.
Calling the mountains
I've seen these.
home. The dwarves are
I think when I first started, I'd looked at them, but Beyonding wasn't out yet then. That's interesting. I don't know what High Elves is. Does High Elf have one?
Man is fast approaching. The chosen of a higher power. Men
that
dominate
is
the lands.
Peak 2008 Lotro there.
Now, regular viewers will know that I'm a...
It would be very nice to them to actually redo those, not only because of the quality is still, I think it's 1024 by 512, if I remember correctly. It's not even a standard aspect ratio, but even on top of that, that is using the old face models, and was it 2017-ish? 2017-ish had the face remodeling, right? So you can definitely tell it's an old man. Stoutax, I'm not sure. Joldame, thank you for the follow. I don't think it will show up. Actually, it might do. I don't know. It should. I don't know. Either way, thank you for the follow. I don't know. I haven't done that much delving. I have carried on into my whole exporting all the audio files and trying to find the Wolfmaster one. I spent a lot of time doing that today. Brawler won't, though, because Brawler is a class, not a race. But Stoutax probably isn't shown because Stoutax is a purchased class, and I wouldn't expect him to be like, hey, I'm going to buy a whole expansion just to have a look at one little image or one little video. So that maybe something we can have a look at in a minute. But yeah. There we go. That took forever. Do the classes? Oh, they do. That's true. Brawler does say play movie. So I'm going to take that as a yes. I just haven't watched it. Maybe I should. Anyway.
Crazy out there adventurous guy, and I really like to push the boat out with fantasy races.
Play Warden, play Warden, play Warden.
MMORPG games, so I'll play a human male. For class, again, you've got movies for each one.
If he doesn't choose Warden, which I don't think he does, I would, from the look of the intro, it's possibly Guardian. I could be wrong. Or at least a heavy class because of the helmet. The fact I know that is kind of odd. But Warden would be a bit of a damning thing, I think, at the moment because of lag.
The captain is a
Oh, okay, fair enough. Heavy class
strengthens her allies, but she is also skilled in the use of arms.
I was at least right on the heavy
Her
class
battle
bit.
cries strike fear into the hearts of her enemies, while her allies rally to her banners of war.
To continue my random zany...
I actually, I saw the intro bit, but I didn't really pay attention to the thing. I think because all my stuff is always down here now, and don't look up here. But I will say, nope, I've forgot it. Oh no! So from a video perspective, I actually hate the fact that there's all that's still like the overlay for saying exit movie. It's a really off-topic thing. I actually made a point of not with the intros. So whenever I did a video on Lotro, and I had the like cutscene style things, whatever you want to call them, I made sure to get the raw file because I hate the fact that they have those like banner things over it. I think it made it so much cleaner. So weird that you can't like get a clean look.
Character, I'll make this playthrough even more interesting, and I'll go for Man with Sword. Right, now to
Man
pick a
with
name
sword.
and
Good.
we'll be off. You cannot have that name, as it appears to be gibberish. Wow, thanks Lord of the Rings Online. I'd like to point out that Celeborn in High Elvish is teleporno. But yeah, Josh Strife Hayes is dumb. Finally find a name it accepts, and oh hey look, there's an option to manage player-made plugins. I like that. I won't use it, but I'm a big fan of accessibility and customization, and to see they officially endorse and support you playing how you want to play, that's nice. Start
Yes.
the game and we are in...
Even more so, and I wouldn't expect him to know this, the fact that there is literally a official Lotro stream on making plugins, I think is also a good thing about that as well. So not only do they say, yeah, you can do it, but also, you know, they kind of, in a sense, teach you. Obviously, it's not SSG themselves, but it's kind of endorsed, basically, which I think is really nice.
In a bandit camp, we've been captured, but don't worry, the Ranger Strider is there to help us break out. WASD to move, space to jump, and oh god, the movement feels floaty. There's like a slight acceleration and then slow down stop with every move.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's B4. It's the guy who, or the person who makes the D-Tracker plugin, if I'm correct. There's I think it's, I can't remember what day specifically, but there's like a make a plugin thing, and I think it's like a, I don't know if it's uploaded on YouTube. I think it would be really useful if it was, because if it's a Twitch stream, it's gonna be like, what, I think it's like 2 months or something, and you know, then it's gone. And I think the Lotro stream channel isn't like partner or whatever, so it would be even less. So I don't know if they're actually uploaded. I haven't seen them uploaded to the main Lotro channel, but I certainly think there would be a nice thing to have uploaded somewhere, at least, just as a reference for, you know, if I want to start making a plugin in a year, you know, I don't want to have half the materials I would have missing, you know.
Movement like you're pushing a heavy cart through a big marshmallow. A and D also turn instead of strafe, which just won't do and should be illegal. So how easy is it to rebind keys? Oh, it's extremely easy. Awesome, good job. Strider fights...
I will say, okay, so they do get uploaded. That's good. That's good. Otherwise, that would be a bit worrisome. Yeah, I personally, and I forget this because I barely use WASD properly. I use, a lot of the time, I use the right click as like my turning. But yeah, I do think it's, what I think the term is tank controls basically. But you know, I do use Q and E quite a lot.
Is it to rebind keys? Oh, it's extremely easy. Awesome, good job. Strider fights some bandits and we get tutorial boxes explaining everything and then told to pick up the guard's equipment. Right click to interact, I opens the inventory, C is the character sheet, right click to equip. It's standard stuff so far, but it's explaining it step by step with a narrative driven context reason to actually encourage the choice. This is nice. We fight Strider for some combat practice and right, there's no getting around it. This is clunky. It's janky. We'll see how it is as we play more. Run through this portal to the outside and now more reading. There's a lot of reading in...
I definitely think, especially at the start, when you've just got the one skill or two skills, it can feel even worse, but I definitely think combat is... Yeah, so that's what I do. I use WASD a lot, but right-clicking the mouse. And then if I'm sort of stood still, I will use Q and E. But yeah, I don't really use A and D as themselves. It's just great. Also, I don't know. Yeah, that's just the way it should be. Let's be honest. So I definitely agree on the like tank controlliness. I think there's a time and place, but like I think having it on left and right is good. And again, it's still nice that you can just like rebind your stuff. You know. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings Online. It very much follows the...
Oh yeah, my point was, I think it's even more clunky, or feels even more clunky in like session plays. I've pointed this out a few times with session plays where you have like, you just feel so slow and sluggish, and I think some of the animations are even slower. It's so weird. I think we said before, it's like you're playing like the main characters sometimes, yet you're still barely able to kill an orc. Yet you're expected somehow to get to Mordor. It's kind of weird. Anyway.
Classic RPG school design of paragraphs of description and in-depth history of absolutely bloody everything. Kind of like Lord of the Rings, the book. Kill
It's
some enemies
fitting.
with
See?
auto-attack, have
It
experience,
works.
explain, and then get told to find Celadine, another captured prisoner. Now, the combat may be clunky, but the fights are short, and the few skills I do have feel important because you only have a few of them, and I can see the substantial increase in damage on use, or reduction in damage on defensive stance use.
Yeah, so session plays... That's why what I really like about Gundabad, because they take the best thing about session play and fix the worst thing. Because from Gundabad, their version of a session play is essentially you are that character. So you play a goblin in one, but you are just your character. So you have to like fight a dude, beat up this other orc, but you get to like, it may not fit quite well, but you're using your bow, let's say, or your rune, stuff. And yeah, I guess there's that one as well. That's the Blood of Azog stuff. That is one big session play essentially, but you are just your own character, which means you're not thrown out, yet you still get the narrativeness. I really think that's the way that they should continue doing it. Don't know if they'd ever go back and redo session plays in a way, but maybe.
Use. And the music is just absolutely top quality.
And they just uploaded a load on YouTube, I think. I turn my music really low down for like normally, so I kind of forget how
We're now halted
loud
to
it is.
watch the drama, and this is something the game does at important story moments. Every now and again you'll be forced to stand still and watch in-game cutscenes. Lord of the Rings Online is a very narrative-driven game, showing you the story is a major design choice. They even call these bits drama moments. We rescue Celadine...
Biggest issue I have with the drama moments is not necessarily this one. I think this one you can just run in, but the ones where you are forced to stay still or you get knocked out or whatever, I think they could be done so much better just by having a detached camera and then just have almost like just a panning shot around dialogue instead of, I get knocked out and I'm 20 meters away and I just have to read it. I think, one example that is quite nice is the Watcher in the Water. That's kind of nice. But yeah, I don't know. I wish they do it more. They don't do it as much as I wish. Like the Gothmog one is always one of my examples and stuff because I feel maybe it's just me being impatient, but me being forced to stand still and watch is like sometimes I'm like I want to just get going, but at the same time if it's like the camera detaches in a sense, it's interesting. This isn't us playing, so we're currently watching a video done by I always forget the order. Josh Strife Hayes. I keep mixing up the Strife and Hayes every time I say it, I swear. So I try not. About Lotro. And then we'll be carrying on with our warden. I'm really bad at names, alright? Just in general. We know this.
From a cage, and she immediately gets a flaming torch and hurls it onto the roof of the bandit camp, burning the place down. Oh, I like you. A woman of action. No messing, just fire.
Too bad they're a hobbit.
That's
the only downside.
He's meant to be with the ranger Amdir, so we round the corner and find Amdir fighting a black rider. And we can't help because the gate is locked, so we are forced to watch as Amdir is stabbed. And then the flames of the burning camp drive the Black Rider off. Strider asks for our help to get Amdir to safety, and we can finish the quest now or later. Now, finishing quests sometimes graphically changes the world, so you're warned to do everything you were doing before moving on, as you may lose some optional story threads. So we set off.
Oh yeah, no, it does do that occasionally.
Wounded by a Black Rider.
A lot of the time it's like, you will be moved to X place and so in red, which is quite nice.
Making his way back to the village of Archet.
There,
The
Captain
audio mixing
Bracken,
on this,
a retired
not
sellsword,
the video, but
was
the
allowed
game
Strider
is
and
pretty
his
terrible.
companions to stay and take respite from their cares.
Now we're in a new village.
sound
Let's
effects
just
basically
get our
just
bearings.
overbear
The
it a little
minimap
bit.
is fine. The world map. Okay, we have a world map, but it's a little bit low resolution.
Yep.
It feels stretched.
Immediate fix. And again, maybe, okay, best hope out of this video is because he's a quite popular channel, hopefully Lotro or SSG or in some capacity maybe have a look at this, because this is a very good experienced MMO player but new Lotro player experience or perspective, and I think this is a big thing. A lot of people on stream ask me about it when I have a small map. I think it's a very good point. You know.
It's like trying to play an old Windows 98 game on a modern monitor, but it is serviceable. It'll
Even
do
worse
for
in
now,
ultra-wide.
but improvements
Not
could
gonna
be
lie.
made. There is even a tick box for quest guide, so more optional playstyles. Nice. So quests in the game show up as 3 possible icons, both on the minimap and above the NPC
Did it say what server
heads.
you went on?
A golden ring for side quests, a flaming ring for the epic
I wonder.
quest lines, and a ring with a quill through it for additional info you might find useful. And when you accept a quest,
Wait, what was
you
that?
can
I didn't actually listen. I'm not gonna lie.
with a quill through it.
Blah.
Side quests, a flaming ring for the epic quest lines, and
Okay.
a ring with a quill through it for additional info you might find useful. And when you
Okay, cool. It did say in the like thing. I don't want to scroll back to it, but there was a part with the launch where it said he was on. But yeah.
accept a quest, you can see the suggested level, in this case 1, and team size, in this case solo. And if you do accept a quest, your journal will record all the info about that quest, including a full history recap of who you spoke to and what they said. And this is a really, really good journal system. Now, it doesn't have everything, like locations you accepted the quest in, or where it wants you to go, or arrows pointing to stuff, but it does provide enough information for you to...
I think that would be nice, especially a lot of people come back and they, like, after a break and don't know where they were, where they started the quest and what have you. Will say the wiki is an availability, but you also shouldn't be forced to go to the wiki to find something out. It should be available in game. But yeah. I think I knew about it, I just don't use it. There's a lot of things in the quest log, like all the buttons at the top, like these buttons, I never use those. You know, find a fellowship. I've never used that button. I've never really had a need to, but I don't know.
or where it wants you to go, or arrows point.
I definitely would love that. I think RuneScape did a thing like that, if I remember correctly. They have like a button in the game where you can go to the wiki related to something. I think you click that and then you click something like what you want to wiki. That might be a RuneLite plugin. Could be wrong. I definitely think something like that. Some way of linking the wiki would be quite interesting.
Pointing to stuff, but it does.
They could even do it in-game, because technically the Lotro store is a in-game browser, right? So they could do that as well, potentially.
does provide enough information for you to work that all out.
RuneLight is like allowed, but I don't think it's not the official client, obviously. So that's more what I mean.
Everything, like locations you accepted the quest in or where it wants.
That's actually a point, right? Steam version, I never use it, but that brings you into your browser. Why can't it bring you into the Steam overlay? Does that not make sense? Like, instead of moving you into Chrome, maybe just bring you to the Steam browser? I don't know. Seems like an odd way. Anyway, I should stop pausing.
Now, it doesn't have everything.
Okay, let's
like
get back to something
locations you
relevant.
accepted the quest in, or
How are we
where
only
it
7
wants
minutes
to
in?
go, or arrows pointing to stuff. But
So
it
far,
does
I
provide
agree
enough
with pretty much
information for
everything,
you
to be fair.
work
I'm not
that
expecting to
all
disagree with a
out.
lot.
Talk to some local people and get told you can edit your inventory layout. Oh, that's cool. You can switch around the available storage space in the different bags that you have. So we get given some armor, and the stats seem pretty grounded and understandable for now. Just a simple.
It's a very good thing he's not seen Endgame, though it seems he may have used a Valar, so stats grounded. Certainly in early game, I do think. Later on, they kind of get a bit over the top when you're getting like 10,000 vitality from one piece of gear.
Simple armor value. Hopefully, this won't suffer from
Okay, I called it. Stat bloat.
power creep too much.
Yeah.
We have a chat to the local Captain Brackenbrook, responsible for defence of the village, about the bandit attack we were captured in. He tells us to talk to the locals to assess the reality.
Not gonna lie, I want to do that much DPS. Should I be allowed to do 42,000 DPS? Probably not. But I don't know. Well, yeah. I'm not saying it's a Gundabad only thing, but obviously, that's why I was saying, like, Valaring to 120 is quite good. But that's, like, Hidden Horde stuff. Like, that, to be fair, that is from, like, what, tier 2, tier 3 endgame raid at the moment. So, to be slightly fair to the gear, you do have to work for it. But at the same time, yeah, I think we're not in disagreement about the stats being a very large numbers.
Of a bandit threat. So we do, and everyone actually feels fine, and they think we're overreacting. Now, I really like this because it has completely subverted my expectations. In most fantasy stories, you'd be immediately believed on account of being the main character, but here, the locals think you are lying and they demand proof. It immediately makes me feel insignificant in a good way. I know there's a threat, but I need proof beyond my own word, because until I've proved myself, my word has no weight. So Strider tells me to go.
I completely forgot about the actual intro bit. I was like, how do we know there's a threat? Oh yeah, there's an entire character intro that I just skip every single time. Yeah. I've always said I think it would be beneficial to do a level squash or a stat squash or something, but I do worry about the complexity of getting it right. I think there is a lot that could go wrong if they do that. But yeah. Can't hear it very well. I will increase it a bit more. There you go. Hopefully that is a bit better. A little bit louder.
Skill trainers and see what they think. And oh, this is a small but lovely touch. The skill trainers aren't just stood around waiting for players to talk to them like boring mechanics. They're actually training other NPCs like living beings. The brawler is punching, the ranger is shooting a bow.
I always forget that the brawler's actually got a trainer now.
So we show this combat.
I'm so used to the brawler trainer being in the Bree jail.
Sword or Warhammer. The DPS is the same on all of them, but the effects are different. So it's a case of setting up a playstyle and not just choosing the bigger number. Now Amdir is still suffering from a minor case of being very stacked,
I do think
so
the extra stuff for the weapons is kind of insignificant at the end of the day. But it is nice, a nice little thing that's extra. It's like, oh, I want the dagger because it does this. Versus, you know, the armor value sort of thing.
Lord of the Rings Online is indeed old. It's got clunky combat, and some of the quests are a novella worth of reading. The graphics and textures aren't the highest quality, and some of the upgrade paths and systems are overly complicated, but the moment-to-moment feeling of exploring in this game is fantastic. The music is brilliant. Composed by Chance Thomas, this game's score has been nominated for multiple awards. The entire soundtrack is, without a doubt, a sublime piece of video game art.
Though, if I am correct, Chance Thomas is no longer making the soundtracks for the game. I think they're using an in-house sound person. I don't know the correct position name. But if I am correct, I think Chance Thomas is retired. He was making a book, if I remember correctly. Composer, that would be the correct word. I'm pretty sure I saw a thing, or I could be mixing up with someone else. I swear he was making a book. Either way, I'm pretty sure either way he's not part of that anymore. But that doesn't take away from the point. It's just future stuff.
Now this dude Calder tells us,
I think it was weird, like they were worried about getting him back from Mordor or something.
At the local ruined
I own the DVD, or the CD rather. I still own, and it was a pain to get, but I have the 10th anniversary CD, which is still sealed because I also have the digital version, and I don't know, I don't really have a CD player, but I just had it for the sake of getting it. But yeah, it's a cool little thing I have of that.
That way anyway, check the top of the ruins for the source of the wolves, if we'd be so kind, please and thank you. And
oh no, he's going to face the Wolf Master.
Coloured overlay, and you can manually change the colours. What a small but lovely touch. Now, fighting the wolves is again dividing. On one hand, the combat system feels janky, with attack distance.
I want to try and change the quality up. If I do it in 4K. This might just completely... okay, at least the video doesn't look like a scaled mess now.
System sometimes not responding fast enough, but on the other hand, I do feel my choices are having substantial weight on the outcome of the battle. Killing enemies also gets you loot, and there's a little area loot icon so you don't miss anything, and this loot lasts in your area claim box for about 1 hour, so you can just zone out and enjoy the music and kill stuff.
I never use that anymore. I always auto loot, and that's why my... identity is inventory is absolutely full.
Injury, a debuff making you move slower for a while. That's a nice way of doing it. Got all the medicine, killed all the wolves, so I go and
it is technically full damage though, as I am a master of showing.
An assassin jumps out saying Calder sent them and we need to die. What the hell, dude? So we deal with them and then go and ask Calder some questions. Questions like, Calder, why are you trying to kill me?
A weakling like you
is a member of the local
defeated the Wolf Master,
attacking the village, but he's also good mates with Captain Brackenbrook, and he doesn't mind telling us this because he knows the captain will never.
Am I right with the font there, or do I have like a different font because of my skin? It feels like it's larger font, though it also could just be scaled up in the options. But yeah, that seems a bit bigger than normal. Little tiny thing, but I assume it's just scaled up. I think that works. Just not for this stuff, right? So yeah, that's probably what it is.
Brackenbrook, and he doesn't mind telling us this.
I actually saw it. I was trying to find the icon for it because I wanted to get an emote based on the broken leg icon for the game, but I don't want to just steal it, you know, and just put it in my thing. I want to sort of, it's simple, but I want to get it made. But yeah, I saw so many things being people like, get rid of it, get rid of it. I'm like, it's that or like. It's inconsistent, certainly. That's kind of an annoyance, but yeah.
He knows the captain will never believe us. Oh, the plot thickens. Using pre-existing interpersonal relationships between NPCs to make our job of exposing treachery harder? That's quite nice writing. So we question a captured black-walled bandit, and he confirms that, yeah, Calder is involved, but this is still not enough for proof. So we are sent to check on the farms to the south.
It's just so weird to look at the different
secret bandit attack plan.
Very odd.
Now, obviously, I want to save the village, but more importantly, you can see the quest rewards as you accept the quest, and this quest gives me a cape. And in any MMO, once you get a cape and some shoulder armor, you know you have made it. On my long run to the southern farm, and believe me, there is a lot of travelling in this game, I try to use the global
I have
to say
the cape
hi.
that's made
it's
it,
level locked
but, you know,
to prevent
different
bots.
story.
But you know what's not level locked? Claiming my free silver hobbit gift. Oh good, free gift systems, so I can fill up my very limited inventory with random crap I don't need or understand.
Yes.
And it even says, hey, you can pay real money for more free gifts. That's not a free gift then, is it? That's just buying stuff. We'll look at the shop later. The southern farms are in trouble, and they need me to go to
that is a weird thing.
Combe and ask for some supplies, but when I get to Combe, It's under black-walled bandit control.
Especially when you have
That
mithril
is
coins and you
how
accidentally
this area
double
is
click
the whole
or that lags
tutorial.
out
It's
and
hemmed
you
in
spend
by a
mithril coins by
bandit
accident.
attack. So I tell the southern farmers this, and he writes a letter for Captain Brackenbrook to confirm, yeah, we're actually in quite a bit of trouble, so I set off to deliver that. And in a nice touch, that letter is not just a random quest item in my inventory, it's a letter. You can read it. You know, so far I've found a lot of small but really nice touches which either increase the game accessibility or the variety of playstyles.
I do think having the notes actually be a thing can be interesting, especially if you're traveling from A to B for a long time. You can sort of have something to do in the meantime.
Brackenbrook, presented with evidence of the bandit threat, laments how many years ago their own son warned them.
Calder Cobb has been loyal to me since he was a boy.
They didn't believe them and instead cast their son out of the village. So the son joined the local Rangers Lodge. But now the son may be their only hope for a defence. Brackenbrook, racked with guilt, begs us not to contact the son because of his pride. But Strider thinks we should put personal family feelings
Captain
aside
Brackenbrook's
and
just
ask
like,
the
nah,
Rangers
I don't
for
want
help.
to.
So we set off to
You know,
find it.
it's too awkward.
Water. The is it better than New World test. Is there swimming? Yes. Yes, there is. And
I haven't played or seen anything of New World. Can you not swim in New World or what? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't necessarily get the point or the comparison. I think the water is pretty good, assuming you have post processing on. Okay, so that's okay. That's the point that's being made. Fair play. Again, I haven't got that experience of that, so I don't know the differences between. But good to know.
oh my god, those reflection graphics. Good lord, that looks nice.
Fun little fact I found out recently. The game does not. Well, okay. So the way the game actually I don't know if this is 100% true, but seemingly the way the game actually does reflections is by having a mirror image reflection on the on the underside almost that renders on the water. I could be completely talking out of whatever, but I think I saw a thing about how it does it, how it's like actually rendered twice, which I think is an older way of doing it. I think I remember seeing a Resident Evil game where it was like a mirror or something. But yeah, there's like a second world almost underneath, just obviously only limited, very limited by what would be reflected. I think that's the way it works from what I was told. So yeah, interesting little thing about how that works.
Finally, Rangers
Unless I'm proven wrong and I've been misinformed, but yeah.
Lodge find John Brackenbrook. He understands the safety of the village matters more than the past feelings of family disagreements, and he agrees to help. Now, all the quest rewards seem to be either light, medium, or heavy armor, and I'm going full heavy so I can tank stuff and not die. John asks us to go to a local bandit
Yeah, imagine dying in the intro. Couldn't be me. I'd never die in the intro, ever.
hideout and try and find the bandits' battle plans so we can prepare a defense. And this is the start of an actually quite logical series of tactical choices. While I'm in combat, I do notice there is a visual skill queue-up system. Some skills chain from one to the next, and pressing a skill button shows you this yellow edging rotating around the side, so you know it's going to happen.
However, you can
next.
only have one.
Even if a skill is on cooldown,
Which is kind
you
of
can queue it up to happen when it's ready. Oh look, location-based weather. In the bandit ruins, it's cloudy, and then as you run outside, it becomes sunny again. And then you run back inside and it becomes cloudy. I know they're just using it as an ambience thing, but it's kind of a shame it's not consistent across the map. Take John the plans and he says, right, the bandits are planning to use the old spider-infested eastern path.
I wonder what his opinion on the little extra Never Hurts quest would be.
See what state it's currently in, see if the village wall...
Because I do think it's a little bit, I don't know, predatory is the correct word for it, but it's literally like sort of mobile games do, where it's like, here's some coins, now you need to use your coins immediately. I find it's like, yeah, I think that would be, you know, it's not the greatest, and I think I forget it exists occasionally because, well, I don't ever take it. Well, I've taken it already, but at the same time, like, you can only get it once, obviously. It's a little bit of a weird one, to be honest. But yeah, that wouldn't have been... I mean, they've already talked about the store, but at the same time, it's like, probably wouldn't add to the good thing. Yeah, I tended to just take the Lotro points and then just not unlock the thing. I don't need to, I just need the 10 Lotro points.
All there is still intact. So we chat to Acty Spiderbane, who helps us find the route.
Wait, what? Wait a minute.
Intact. So we chat to Acty Spider.
He got his name wrong. How dare he get a name wrong? Imagine saying a name wrong. That really threw me off. I was like, I swear he says Acty just there.
Village wall there is still intact. So we chat to Acty Spiderbane, who helps
Not that it matters. It just really threw me off for a second.
us find the route. The hidden path is indeed full of spiders. And at the end of this path, we find a dead bandit scout. And the village wall fully intact. Okay, this is brilliant. I expected the bandits to have an
I want an
assault
Acty
party
Spider-Man
here already, but this is visual storytelling. The bandits have sent a guy to check on the viability of the path for an assault, and the guy died because it's not a good assault route and the spiders got him. Which means the bandits don't know this is a bad idea. So we tell John this route won't be good, but the bandits don't know this, so he decides, right, we'll set up a small ambush at the end of this spider path, so any bandits which do try to use it will be caught between rangers or spiders. This is a good plan.
Spiders don't
warned
aggro
that
though, you know?
finishing this
Not a
quest
problem.
will end every other side quest we're on because this is the last tutorial quest, but I am so invested in this village defense story. Let's do this right now. So the bandit siege has begun. The village is on fire. The bandits are swarming. Let's fight. We rush through. We meet Ulti again and we team up, and eventually we reach
He's doing it on purpose. I swear he's doing it on purpose.
rush through. We meet Ulti again and we
I'm not gonna lie, I've called him Ulti before. I've mixed up the letters. But he's now 3 different people. Just saying.
team up, and eventually we reach Captain Brackenbrook, who has a brief but emotionally intense reunion with his son. And then we all work together to defend the village from the waves of bandits until the traitor Calder shows up again, flanked
those
by 2 psychic
beautiful Cargles.
Cargo. And their presence prevents us from moving. Now Calder, with the promise of riches and power, kills Captain Brackenbrook, forcing John, his son, to watch. And when the cargo
I think I'm gonna ult in,
the psychic domination effect ends,
Lotro.
and we fight back. We win, and then there's another cutscene.
With the Black Wolves' attack foiled, the people of Archet have begun to rebuild. Yet not all hurts are so easily mended. The fate of the Ranger Amdia remains uncertain and may have dire consequences for Breland.
That was a lot darker than I was expecting.
I
it
do
to
want to
be.
like
We now get a
remake those
milestone
cutscenes at one
skill,
point.
which lets
I'd
you
love to be able to do that.
teleport to the connected village, and you can link your milestone skill to whatever new village you visit. Think of it like a Hearthstone. We chat to John, who's understandably distraught after seeing his father killed right in front of him, and we get the next quest: go and bury the dead. Okay, that whole
Very
village bit
somber.
was an intro, and as far as intros go, it's really, really good. I feel pretty confident in my abilities now. I have a basic understanding, and I feel ready to go and explore. This was good pacing.
I do wonder from I do wonder as well from this video. So one of the videos I was working on yesterday is I've talked about it on stream and I've given my reasons, but I kind of want to do almost, I don't know if a video essay is quite the term for it, but I want to do a video about why I think Errol Lewin is the best starter area out of the 3. As just an interesting, like, I don't know, kind of dipping my toes into that style of video almost. But it's really interesting to look at the Bree sort of intro from this perspective as well. It's been a while since I've done it, like, fully. But yeah, I normally skip this prologue stuff and just go do normal quest. Or actually, to be fair, I skip this complete prologue and I just go to to Selendum. That's immediately what I do. So yeah, I don't know.
Sync.
I do. It's more about, I think it's the best intro to teach you stuff. So my point being, it explains like deeds and stuff very well, Again, it will be like a video thing. I obviously everybody's got their own opinions, but in my I think the quest flow is really good, and it explains all the different types of deedings really well. The Shire, from my limited experience, is fine, but there's this weird level skip from like level 7 to 11 in some of the prologue quests, or something like that. It's like a 4-level skip, which is just a little bit odd to me. But yeah. Oh, I'm more talking about like not like the intros. I more mean the like starter zones. I think High Elf is the best intro, personally, but I think as a starting zone in the actual story, like prologue area, I guess, I'd say Ered Luin is Celandim specifically. The elf part is, in my opinion, the best. But again, it'll be a video at some point. And I don't know. I want to kind of like do those more like. I think video essay is technically the correct term for it, but you know, something like that. And then we talked about a video going through like Amarthiel at some point, Sarah Okart / Amarthiel, and I also want to start working on that because I think it'll be kind of cool. In fact, I did some work for that yesterday and today. That's why I was doing Okart's Might or whatever it's called.
And the fact that we're in the same village, but the whole thing is charred and burnt down, this is really impressive. So I start burying
Still
the
wish
dead.
it would let me
I get
rebuild
told that some
Archit.
coins have been sent to my
Please,
wallet, and I
SSG.
can open the wallet with
Please.
keys. So I open the wallet, and there it is, big button, Mithril coins. Okay, Lord of the Rings Online, let's do this. What's the shop like?
Okay. He's running this off Steam. So, that's going to be probably a markdown. I'm going to guess that he wouldn't know the store is an in-game thing if you do not play through Steam. I think it is a little bit more easy to use. I still think in some regards it's a little bit more predatory. It certainly used to be. Anyway.
In-game premium shop actually opens in a browser window, and it is extensive. Want to gain experience faster? Not a problem. Want to stop experience gain altogether so you can continue your PvP levels? That's fine. Want to just buy a level boost? Yep, it's all there. You can even buy the new class and... hang on, what's this? Monster classes.
Oh, God.
For the monster versus player mode. Oh, I'm definitely checking that out later.
If only it wasn't so terrible. Yeah, I definitely vocally not a fan of Monster Play, but maybe I'll go back to it at some point. Just stream it. It'd be horrible.
So most of the shop is extra game content, either massive expansion.
Though I do hope it is pointed out that a load of the stuff came out free to play. I know it was mentioned at the beginning, but I feel like by the time you get to this part of the video, you'll probably have forgotten it. I'm just not a fan. So basically, because you kind of get, in my opinion, the reason I don't like it, again, it's just my opinion, is my first experience of PvMP is uploaded on the YouTube channel. I actually hated that video so much. Not hated the video, but I didn't like the video. I took 3 months to upload it. It was fully edited and rendered and everything. I recorded it at midnight on Arkenstone to try and like get at peak times. And I like did everything, and then I didn't release it. I think eventually I just remembered it existed. I did not really like that video, but you get dropped. I got dropped into the Monster Play, and you kind of get this intro thing, and then suddenly I walk out this gate or whatever. Don't necessarily know what I'm doing too well, and then I get attacked by 12 other players that are max level that are all grouped together, and I'm like, okay. That was not. It might just be a bad first experience, but first experiences kind of stick a lot of the time. But yeah, maybe at some point it'll be worth going into. I've seen some videos of it, and it's been very I've seen some Monster Play stuff that's quite interesting. But I do definitely think it's a very big group thing, more so than a solo thing. I certainly don't think you can sort of just play it normally. I did kind of join in with a random group, and I got 1 kill, which, don't get me wrong, it's like in Elden Ring when I died 40 times to one enemy, and then I finally got the kill, and you feel good, but anyway.
expansions like the current Fate of Gundabad, or smaller local quest chains. Packs which add around 40 to 70 quests to a specific map or area, and content packs vary between 1,000 to 3,000 Lord of the Rings Online points, and 40 quid will get you 9,000
40
points,
quid.
so it's not
Why is it weird for me to hear someone say quid? I don't know why. But yeah.
unaffordable, but it is abusively priced to mean you'll always be slightly over or slightly under what you need.
True. I will say that he is currently drawing a double points, so that does slightly skew it, but only by like double. So it's still a very relevant point. That I think the pricing kind of just like is a little bit odd sometimes, or they do that thing where you spend you have to, you buy one and you can't quite make it, but also you can just earn it in game, so technically it's fine.
But there is a hell of a lot to buy. You can spend 3,000 points to make your horse go up to 78% faster. You can buy a Tome of Defense to...
And also you get the riding skill with everything. However, that will bring up another point of should you have to pay for the riding skill. I think it would be nice to just get the riding skill at like level 20, much like VIPs already do. But just as a free-to-play. Just my personal opinion on the riding skill.
to increase your defense for a short time. Same with speed or outgoing healing or attack. So
I've never bought those.
Straight up.
The only ones I've ever bought from the combat buffs is the hope boost, right? Because I'm pretty sure the hope boost, if I remember correctly, doesn't go if you die, whereas a normal hope boost does. I think that's the case, because that's what we did for Rift, is we ended up buying some, from the store, some +5 hope boosts, because they didn't actually go when you died, which was a nice little benefit of that. But only time I've ever bought those, because Tome of Defense, you can get those easily. This is possibly my horrible like farming mentality, but like I would rather just make a character for like 15 minutes and get a Tome of Defense than spend 75 Lotro points. Or the combat run speed boost, which most classes already have one that's faster. Also, well, I guess combat run speed boost rather than out of combat, but still. Yeah.
Up temporary stat boosts for sale. If you're struggling in a raid or a dungeon, not a problem. Drop some cash, boost, win. But I did mention at the start that they're giving away a load of stuff for free. Now, back in March, they decided to make all of the older expansions part of the main free game. And if you're a monthly subscriber, you'll get access to a load of the smaller quest packs. You only really...
Technically right, technically wrong. Only up to Helm's Deep, right? So you are still missing 4 expansions worth if you are a free-to-play. So, but obviously during this current event, and I think that is a byproduct for this video being made at this exact time in the festival, but there is technically more you have to buy, which I don't know, maybe it's a better outcome if this is made at this time. I don't know.
And if you're a monthly subscriber, you'll get access to a load of the smaller quest packs. You only really need to buy the latest main expansion. And as we'll see later, there is a way to do this using in-game currency. It's actually a really decent amount of content for free. It's just a very overwhelming, very pay-to-win shop. And while browsing the shop, I died. Now you can revive where you are or go back to a stone circle outside of town and revive.
That is also a very big point. I was about to say, how'd you die while staring at the store? Because for me, my store is in-game. So makes sense. I can just look at the store and run away as I do it. But it would make sense, especially if you've only got one monitor. Having it open up in Chrome or whatever, yeah, you can definitely end up just dying if you're not careful, which is kind of interesting.
Where you are does have a cooldown, so I get back to my burying bodies quest. You know what I like? You're not the chosen one. You're not destined to be great, you're not magical or special, you're just an adventurer helping out. You were in the right place at the right time and you did what you could.
You're in the right place a lot of the right time. Someone who's less undying than me. Yeah. You missed out on the best title.
Bro, it's because you chose to do heroic things. Not because of some predestined birthright or immutable prophecy, your rewards are of your own doing. I also like how when you teleport back to your milestone town, your avatar studies a map with a magnifying glass. Because I relate to it so hard. You're basically saying, I have no idea where I am, let's go home. Back in town, a wandering
Most of the
stranger
time.
has been looking for the hero of Archette, and that's likely us because of our actions during the defense of the village. So we are sent to the village of Combe and told to go to the Combe and Wattle.
Is there a
Inn.
title for that?
And
I'd
now
love a
the first
title called The Hero of
experience
Archette.
lag. The player base has warned me Lord of the Rings Online can get very laggy, and up until now I've been fine, but God, going through this village gate, I get attacked by something, I can't see anything, and then a wolf lags in, dies, and I rubber band around for about 3 minutes. If this is what the player base knows as standard, no wonder they are struggling to hold players. Issue navigating in town.
I think that is... lag is a very fair point. Like we discussed at the beginning of the stream, I think a lot of it is just the peak players, especially if he's also... depending on the time he's playing, obviously. He hasn't mentioned queues, so I wouldn't assume it's like fully full, but I think it's certainly been worse recently than it has, let's say, 3 months ago. But yeah. And also, world chat, does exaggerate. But I don't disagree with I definitely don't disagree with lag being a problem. I have been I think very fairly frustrated with the lag, especially as a warden. I think it just is, fundamentally your entire class is kind of thrown through a loop the moment lag is involved. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just hopefully not a thing that's persisting for too long. Also, yeah, world chat exaggerates.
The world map is low resolution and can be zoomed in or out with left or right click, but never to any real...
He definitely said low revolution, not gonna lie. But map, very clear point. I do really wish the map was... I think is it more map or terrain map? I can't remember which one, where you sort of see a bird's eye view, a literal bird's eye view, and you can kind of zoom in and zoom out properly. But I definitely think the map being reworked to have a bit more in and out functionality would be nice. I don't know. I am not currently playing, but we are watching a captain. It was captain, right? Yeah, it was captain. Anyway, yeah, I definitely agree the map could be better. I think DDO's map is actually kind of nice, but I also kind of hate it because of some of the stuff. But it's in a separate window. You can drag it. I technically think you can resize it. I could be wrong about that. But it's very weird that the games made by the same company have such drastically different map styles. I personally think the DDO's way of holding it is the best. There is not... so in terms of plugins, I guess we can switch back to I've been logged out. Nice. So going into the plugin manager, you can get more map, which is quite nice. It will only show your... I guess... I'll log in and we can sort of show it. So yeah, if you use the skin from the JRR collection, any of them, you do get the smaller correct resolution map. So it's not taking up the whole screen and it's only 1024 by 768, however big that is on your screen, which is a lot nicer and allows you to at least navigate and look around, like so. But on that topic, there is more map, which is just this, but you can use it to look at deeds, which is what I mostly use it for. And secondly is terrain map, right? Which is this one, which allows you to kind of actually see the map as is. You can scroll over and actually like have a look at stuff, which is, kind of nice. I don't know if I'd like this to be the regular map, but certainly I think, if I don't know, where am I right now? I'm lagging. My map's lagging. It's showing a lot of detail, to be fair. Hey, I'm in Rivendell right now. Can you tell? I'm right there. Yeah, there's you can see a lot of the NPCs, which is kind of nice, and especially if you're looking for a person's name specifically. It could be pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's the issue. Is it's so large. To be fair, I don't know if I zoom in. Oh, I'm zoomed out now, but like that's kind of weird. That would make me think I'm more zoomed in, and that be like zoomed out. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
Usable degree of detail. We
How
need
far
like
we
a
got?
mouse wheels.
Only 15 minutes left. It's only gonna take like an hour.
And the mini-map can't be changed at all. So in busy towns like this one, icons overlap one another and navigation is more annoying than it needs to be. Please, Lord of the Rings Online, if you revamp anything, let it be your map system.
Yes.
Into the inn we head
100%
upstairs
agree.
and meet Torodan, another ranger. They
Well, I think there's a
introduce
few
us to
other things, but
traits.
yeah,
So there's
certainly
actually
up there.
even more pacing in this tutorial. The player isn't assaulted with an overwhelming amount of systems too soon. You are given more as you explore more. J opens the traits menu. You've got class, race, and virtue traits. Buffs gained as you level up and then arranged to form a...
Again, very good thing. This was after update 33 because very rightly he's talked about the shop, but imagine basically gating skills essentially behind payment. Not the greatest look, and it's something I've always complained about. Not a thing anymore, luckily, but still.
A more unique character to your own playstyle. Now, I don't worry about this right now. I get sent to help out Constable Underhill, and when I leave the inn, a little box pops up telling me I have the riding skill. Cool, I can use mounts. Where is the riding skill? Can't seem to find it on the skills menu. Or the traits menu. It's not active or passive. Am I just missing it? I even open up the help menu from the escape menu, which loads the knowledge base of the game. I search for riding, and nothing comes up.
I think that was probably a get the riding skill, which is something that comes up to you in the little thing. It would be nice if it actually showed it. I'm guessing that was what it was. And yeah. Well, I just mean because from what I understand, he was planning to make this video a couple months ago, which means update 32 wasn't out at the time as well. So I'm kind of just saying everything like that was free to play sort of changes was update 33. But yeah, that's more my point. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that was more get the riding skill, though technically he does have the riding skill from the anniversary event. But yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. The knowledge base would have been actually really nice to be a wiki button, and for them to do something official, because I not had the greatest experience with the Standing Stone Games help stuff.
In-game knowledge base doesn't have info that a player might need, even relating to a keyword. What a great design. Eventually, I just Google it. The riding skill, the base level one, which lets you use a mount, is in the cash shop.
Yes.
Now bear in mind, you have a mount in your inventory for free, but you can't...
Yes and no. You have a mount in your thing from the anniversary. Normally you wouldn't. There's a couple points where I'm bringing that up, but I think it's a very fair point to bring up. But also, on top of that, if he opened up his box, he would also have the riding skill.
Use it. That's terrible. A pop-up telling you you can buy riding, but you do literally need to buy riding. Now, as I play more, I do discover this system isn't as bad as it seems. You can use in-game currency, but consider for a moment that a new player...
But I also get that this is I guess you also get the 24-hour whistle, but I also get that this is a new player, not someone who has been playing for years and knows these things.
Gets to this point, Googles Lord of the Rings Online riding skill, and gets told, yeah, you've got to pay real cash for that. That is a quit moment right there. Constable Underhill says the Blackwalled bandits are defeated but not gone completely, and he thinks there's a spy remaining and supplying them in the village. So while we go and hunt that spy down, let's have a read of some reviews. It's really good. When I first picked up this game about a month ago, I didn't expect to like it half as much as I did. I just wanted to dip my toes into an MMO I hadn't tried before, but what I ended up with was a world where I wanted to linger. I admit I don't know how well the atmosphere would translate over for someone less familiar with Professor Tolkien's work, but I think the moments that made me stop and just want to linger in the scenery don't require that much connection to the lore. The gameplay turned out to be neatly adjustable to various playstyles. I picked Hunter as my first class and wasn't disappointed with all the fast travel options it offered and the DPS, but I think at this point I've read people calling a good half of all the classes their favourite for solo play, which I think says a lot.
Oh, that's a
Couldn't
lot
get
of
into it. It just
sunshine.
feels old. Horrible sign-up process, clunky movement, stationary combat, terrible graphics on ultra settings, endless fetch quests where you have to run for 10 minutes to the next objective. Some quests require VIP membership from the start. It just doesn't have much going for it. The best way to experience the world of J.R.R.
Wonder when that
Tolkien
was,
outside of the books.
released.
The graphics are a bit dated but serviceable, and it runs well on older hardware. The cash shop is
I think Evernight gets sort of the worst of it because Evernight and Arkenstone are, of their representative area, the most populated. So they kind of get more players sort of hitting it with lag. I know from what I've heard from when they've talked about it, Evernight has seemingly been the sort of outlier for issues or reported issues. They get a lot of reports for issues on Evernight, and they sort of have to like occasionally, you have to worry if people are over dramatizing things, I guess, from their perspective sometimes, if they're getting nothing from other servers. But I know that did go down yesterday, so there could be an underlying issue on Evernight. Arkenstone I never really had issues with, but again, I played at really like opposite of peak times because of time zones, so I don't know.
less predatory than most free-to-play titles, and the game can be enjoyed without spending money, although earning premium currency in the game is limited. All in all, I highly recommend giving it a try, even if you just take a pleasant stroll around the Shire. Want to assist the Fellowship of the Ring on their journey to Mount Doom? Want to explore Gollum's
What
cave
if
in the
I
depths
get
of
recommended? No, I wouldn't.
Want to help
I was like,
find
what if he talks
Bill
about the
the
free-to-play?
pony after
No.
Sam released him outside the mines of Moria? Then I highly recommend for the story aspect.
Bill the Pony.
Just discovered if you
Can do a
zoom in,
video
you
on
can
Bill
play
the
in
Pony.
first person, journeying through a densely packed, foliage-filled forest. I am really surprised at how nice the general ambience is in Lord of the Rings Online. Find the bandit camp, run in screaming, and get killed very quickly. Now, as a captain, I can summon
Bleeds.
a banner
Damage over
bearer
time.
pet.
Damage
I
over time.
assumed they would fight
See, I'm not the only one that dies to damage over time early. It's not just me playing Iron Man. See, it's not.
by my side, but no, they just stand there cheering me on. You're about as useless as Faramir.
He is on passive mode. But I also I don't know if it explains that because I haven't seen the hints for it, but it is on passive mode. I think. Yes. Normally it's on defensive, right?
Yeah. Your health, by the way, is called morale. This is why you don't die. You just run out of morale and give up. So I kill some bandits and, oh, I seem to be completing a deed. What are deeds? Well, deeds are small local tasks like killing bandits or spiders or collecting stuff, and completing a deed rewards you with Lord of the Rings online points, the premium currency. So there's actually a system where playing the game
and helps you upgrade your
gives
character.
the currency required for the in-game shop, so you can spend it and unlock stuff like the riding skill or
He's gonna die.
questlines or major expansions.
He's gonna die.
I like this. It's
Oh,
not
no.
fast,
He's
but
not
it
gonna die.
means it is possible to grind the game to pay for the
I
rest
saw those
of
bleeds,
the game.
so-
We find a letter at the bandit camp and take it back to
That's... That shouldn't show up. Should it? That definitely shouldn't show up anymore. Get more trait slots? They should be unlocked by default. I kind of want to make a new character just to see if that's still a thing.
pay for the rest of the game. We find a letter at the bandit camp and take it back to Underhill, and he sends us northwest. The letter is
What
from
happens
the
if you
wolf
look in the store
breeder
for it, though?
Ellie. It seems that she has been supplying the bandits with attack wolves, so we should go and have a word. If I had to describe the experience of playing Lord of the Rings Online in one word, I'd choose pleasant, both in style and mechanical design. On the style front, it's not stunning, it's not genre-definingly incredible, but it's not offensively bad. It looks good, it sounds great, it plays acceptably, and the moment-to-moment feeling of being within this rather well-crafted world is very
Acceptably.
enjoyable because of all of those styles combining really well. It is a pleasant world to exist in and explore around, and then the mechanics of the gameplay and the small touches all add up. Movement is floaty, but you get used to it. Combat is janky but serviceable. The inventory is nicely laid out, and the character profile contains enough details.
Although I
and
do
the
wish there was
quest journal has
more.
enough info available at a glance.
It's really interesting seeing his hotbar. So in his hotbar, he has the Starlight horse on his minus key, which is fine, but it's the consumable item, not the actual horse item. if you know what I mean. It's not the actual like skill, it's just the item, which I kind of find amusing, but also brings up the point of should horses be easier to use, but normally you just get them auto-equipped if you buy them, so I don't know if it's a redundant point. Anyway.
There are very
That is if you have the riding skill.
few design choices in Lord of the Rings Online bad enough to make a player want to stop playing. We find Ellie. She says,
I don't know about his opinions on New World. All I know is he says the swimming's better than New World in this game.
yeah, I did send the wolves to the bandits, but then they bred them into wargs, and I feel pretty bad about that, so please go and kill the brood mother to stop that happening again. Here's the secret hideout location. Okay, Ellie, we all make mistakes. I mean, who hasn't sold wolves to a bandit before? You live and learn. This means a lot more walking, but walking leads to this moment, which I think exemplifies the pleasant description. Just look at this. I'm standing on an overlook above a lumberyard, and you've got an NPC warden patrolling the road walking over the bridge, and some of the NPC workers are all chopping logs with the forest sprawling into the distance. Now, in many games you just have a lumberyard, but here you've got people actually existing.
Yeah, I do think
on
it's
the
nice
yard
having the
and
NPCs
doing
actually
actions
doing
expected of
stuff.
chopping logs. This small touch of having NPCs in the world living their life and working their jobs instead of just standing around waiting for the player to come and chat to them is such a powerful design choice. It makes the world feel real beyond my small experience of it. And I actually just stand here and watch for a while. The lives of the workers, the music, the gentle rustling of the trees. This is a pleasant experience. Even running through the yard itself, there's side quests, people taking breaks, and I can see myself one day just taking a lazy Sunday to help everyone out here because it's an enjoyable place to be. Find the bandit wolf house.
Yeah, there's a
It's
lot of
guarded, so I sneak around the back and
side
fight
stuff over
my
there,
way
right?
through. And I quite like the fact that you can approach this from multiple angles. And eventually I lure the den mother over to me and I kill them. I let Ellie know it's dealt with and we get a shiny new axe for our troubles. But we're not done.
I will say
Den
the
mother
amount
is
of
out,
walking
there are
back
still
to Ellie, though,
wolves
is
remaining, so we need some
actually
poison
terrible.
to deal with them. Leecher Cartwell tells us to go and find some ingredients. But this is
He's Cartwell the Leecher. So his name is Cartwell. He's just Leecher is his title. Is that right? I've just been calling him Lord. I'm not like I talk about him a lot, but in my brain he's just called Leecher, and I was like, oh, that's kind of an unfortunate name. All right, cool. I learned something today.
is the first moment, the very first quest that feels like filler. Up until right now, everything has been paced really well and the story moved along quite quickly. This is the moment it begins to feel like a padded MMO instead of a well-paced RPG.
Just because
Now,
it's like a
I've been
fetch quest.
ignoring my backpack because I know that I'm about to do something stupid. In my inventory, there are 3 boxes: the 3 Peaks pack, the Minas Morgul pack, and
Oh,
the
God.
Mordor pack. And these are the 3 free expansions and all the stuff you would get if you were to buy them. So I open the Mordor one and I get a load of cosmetics. And the cosmetic override system is really easy to use. You just choose what you're equipped with for stats and then what you want to use for visuals. The only problem is the visual override items stay in your inventory, taking up space.
Yes.
But there's also a level 100.
I kind of wish that there was. I mean, the wardrobe does exist, yes, but it makes me wish that. I talked about the like collection log style thing. I wish there was that, but basically you could just, you know, drag from there. It's like you did achieve this once. You know, you can just use it as a wardrobe item, because you obviously at some point have gained it. But yeah, I know. Yeah, it is a bit weird though. It's nice though as well because you can put items. Let's say I see a lot of people who will like put something in their wardrobe. Someone will. Person A will. Let's say me and Ghost. Let's use me and Ghost as an example. Ghost will find an item, and then Ghost will mail it to me, and then I'll put it in my wardrobe, and then I will send it back to him, and he can put it in his wardrobe, and then we both got that item. So in the wardrobes regard, that's nice because you can use it multiple times rather than it's a one and done thing. But I certainly wish, like I talked to again about, like I want to make a collection log almost for gear, like teal plus gear, because I think that'll be interesting. It's like try and level a character and get all the gear you can whilst you're playing, similar to what Feyrand kind of's like. But yeah, I think making cosmetics more of a collectible than a wardrobe thing would be nice. Because there is limited wardrobe space, even if you buy it all. Not enough to fit everything in the game. But yeah, it's, you know, the precedent's there, you know, mounts, pets, war steed cosmetics even, which is a completely different system. But yeah, I certainly wish there was kind of that thing.
20 Aria of the Valor level boost. I'll use that soon. Arriving at the local town of Bree, and oh, just look at this. The stable hands are actually tending the horses. There's a dude sat chilling on the steps. People are chatting. Kids are playing. This is what an MMO city needs to feel like. Alive beyond me. You know what? Let's boost to level 120.
But you're the only person in the world.
How confusing could it possibly be?
Definitely. Very confusing.
Right. I'm now the saviour of the free peoples, hero of the land. I'm teleported to wherever this is. I'm Elrond's BFF, and Gandalf wants a word. I'm being showered with accomplishments. I've been given a war horse, and I'm being told about mounted combat. Then
Oh God!
I get a free level 100
Mounted combat
weapon, and where am I? What has happened? What am I meant to be doing?
I will say the point. I will say this before he gets into any points. I think the Valar should have a warning, in a sense, mentioning kind of what it does. And I do think that I very strongly suggest people to not use Valars if it's their first time playing. So I will say, as a preemptive thing to anything here, if I were to try and defend, not that that's my intention here, but I see Valars as being, you know, if you're, I don't know, transferring servers, that's one thing, or you just sort of want to make another character with maybe a different spec, but you don't want to, you know, go through the whole slog again, but you know how the class works, kind of thing. I certainly think it's very much a random, too many things, confusion, you know, fish out of water kind of thing a lot of the time.
Look, I appreciate you giving new players level boosts so they can catch up to their friends and do the higher content without grinding for weeks or months, and I do appreciate how this boost for some reason includes the riding skill, but please, if you are a brand new player, do not use the level boost.
I know this is actually a really random point, but I kind of want to make this video now. A video doing like a very quick catch-up, almost, of... like, if you've used the Valar, like, if you use a 50 Valar, like, what's happened in between, like, what you've skipped. And maybe, like, a 105 Valar and a 120 Valar and a 130 Valar as well. I wonder if that would be something interesting to make. Just get the, like, Captain America thing where he sits on the stores. So you decided to use your Valar, you know? Because I think this is a very good point. For me, as someone who uses a 120 Valar here and there, and I'm like, oh, I know where I am. But yeah, it is kind of a fish out of water kind of situation. You're like, what's happened? Why? I don't understand.
Until you have actually got to hear at least once legitimately. Because it throws you in...
Very...
You are a brand new player. Do not use the level boost until you have actually got to hear at least once legitimately.
Yes,
because it
100%.
throws you into a very high level, very confusing part of the game. I have no idea geographically where I am or what any of my multiple unlocked skills or traits now do, because I've been given an overwhelming amount of stuff to deal with all in one go. And I know this is my fault.
And I think in some regards, you can actually ruin your playthrough or ruin your experience by doing this.
So I take full responsibility. Look, they even gave me a balloon. Look, Elrond. Look at my balloon.
He's outside his library.
Are you proud of me yet, Elrond? Have a chat with Gandalf, and Gandalf recommends I finish the Black Book of Mordor quest line before starting his quest, but I have no idea where to start that quest, so we'll skip it. I mean, how important can that really be? So I'm sent off to do something and talk to someone, and my god, the landscape around here is gorgeous. I don't know where I am or what I'm doing, but I do know that I'm having a good time doing it. Combat's a bit tougher though. I have a load of skills I don't understand, so I just run away.
I think as well, like, you know, maybe if he chose Hunter, he probably wouldn't have that sort of issue. But yeah, why has he got an XP boost on? Interesting. Yeah, you know, you kind of do have to learn your skills as you go, obviously. So it's He's
Well,
like
you know what?
using
Let's
very
just teleport
passive
back
skills
to Bree and become
whatever.
the most overpowered town protector ever. Let's check out the monster play mode I saw earlier. Oh, interesting.
Oh, this would be interesting.
You get to choose a character. There are free and paid classes. Is this PvP? So we log in and... Oh, it's not just PvP. It's a whole PvP map with quests for the monster players and skills and class builds and a monster base. And this is...
I thought they would change that. Did they not give you everything for free, like corruptions and stuff, on PvMP? I guess not. That's very weird. I guess that's at least relevant for the add trait points button that there was, but still.
Pretty cool. Okay, so this is one dedicated map with open PvP against the free peoples and the monsters. The only problem, there's no one around. You get given the briefest of tutorials, given entirely through text boxes about how to play a monster, and then told to go and poison the river. So
that's a really big point, though, is, you know, for this to be... For PvMP to work, there has to be people playing it. Compared to... I think it's just... I saw in chat in here earlier, there was only like 300 people online, so very unlikely that there would be people playing PvMP on, like, very clearly not peak times. But that doesn't dissuade the point of, like... For this to work, you have to have people there.
So I walk all the way across the map and don't see
he is in a fellowship.
Player. I'm also level 140. This area looks a lot worse than the other starting zones. I dump the poison into the river. There's no graphical change.
Has he changed his settings as well? This is the same water as if you didn't have post-processing on. So I don't know if it's just because it's an older area and therefore that happens, or no, I know what it is. It's the PvMP graphics change setting, right? Isn't that a thing where like it will change it to lower settings to technically get better FPS? Yeah, cool. That actually makes a lot of sense. I never go into the moors, so didn't make sense to me until I just clicked.
Change from this.
But I also think it would be nice to have maybe something that like a little hint thing that comes up about that maybe, or something being like, do you want to have it automatically switch to have you know, the most frames per second, or do you want it to look, you know, as good? Because there is a checkbox, but nobody knows that really, like clearly unaware.
And then head back to the monster base and win. Okay, new players don't play as a monster in the PvP mode. This is likely a novelty for veteran players, not a fun experience for new ones. Before I finish this video, I want to try one more thing. I want to see if the other starting zones are different experiences, so I make a new character. I'm going to go with a crazy
I'll also point out, he hasn't got the avatar update visible. It's very weird that that is not on by default. Don't know why.
fantasy combination of race and class,
Elf Hunter, we love it.
Never been seen before. I'm going to make an elven archer.
Yeah.
And the opening experience is, again, really good. Teaming up with Elrond to repel a dwarven attack on the elvish settlement. Same process of interaction, equip, combat, defend, retreat. It's, again, a very well-made tutorial. Lord of the Rings Online feels, at least when playing solo,
best tutorial. Actually, that's a lie. High elf.
Dragon Age Origins. It even looks similar. It's a slower-paced RPG with a lot of customization and glorious environments to explore with a cracking soundtrack. The combat system is showing its age enough, but it's still enjoyable. The plots are well structured and written, and the updating scenery and map models based on quest outcome is a lovely touch. I even like how the elf tutorial ends with the elvish leader destroying the temple instead of letting the dwarves steal the artifact, and then many years later we are sent to the frozen mountains to accompany Elrond's sons on a quest. And again, it looks gorgeous, but the
just outside the gate
scale of the landscape is enhanced
literally
by
like
the
next door,
minutia, like how you can see your character's breath. Now, I can only judge what I played. I didn't get the chance to do dungeons or raids, and I didn't meet the Fellowship. But the opening section, the mechanics, the general design, the pacing, the overall ambience of Lord of the Rings Online is really, really good. I had an enjoyable, pleasant, slower-paced time. If you're after a more chilled MMO with a lot of free content and some really nice
the
quality
Karok,
of life
nearly.
touches, you could do a lot worse than Lord of the Rings Online.
I have
Now, it's
flashbacks
not
to the Beyonding
perfect.
intro
The map
there.
resolution needs changing,
Yes.
the combat needs less jank, and the lag needs fixing, along with streamlining some of the riding skills, and maybe not giving new players a potentially game-breaking high-level boost directly from the inventory. There are
I don't disagree with any of those, except technically the last one. I think it's nice to have it, but again, I think a little warning, like a pop-up being like, I don't know, a pop-up that just says, you know, you're going to be sent to XYZ area. If you have not, we highly suggest you play through the game normally before you skip levels, or something like that. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that free accounts are getting Valors. But yeah, that's only for 2 more days.
definitely improvements, but all in all, it's a really decent MMO. I can see why it never quite reached the top tier, but I can also see why it's still around. So, to end the review, I will award Lord of the Rings Online, seriously, just fly the eagles to Mordor. There is no reason that wouldn't have worked.
Hey, it's
Out
storytelling.
of 10. Cheers for watching.
You said it at the
Another
beginning, you
massive
said it
thank
at the
you
end.
to all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch for keeping the channel alive. You can support from only £1 a month. Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter, and Discord.
Anything else at the
And
end?
as
We'll see.
always, have a great day.
Nope, I think that's it. You got your golem mask? Fair enough. We'll need to get ghosted at some point. All right, let's get back into the game. I'm surprised I didn't get kicked out. I think overall, I don't disagree with pretty much anything that was said in that. Like, I think a lot of people are going to go into that video being like, how dare he say it's the worst MMO ever, blah, blah, blah. Which he probably does, to be fair. Get people saying that is more my point. I think that's one of the byproducts of calling something a series under that, but I do think it's a very clever thing to do. Yeah, I don't actually think there was anything in there I massively fundamentally disagreed on. So yeah. I don't know if I want to do this. I might put like a clip of that somewhere, like just a video of me doing that, maybe on like not on the actual channel, but maybe on like, I don't know, the clips channel or the VOD channel. But I kind of want to do I don't know if response video is quite correct, but it's more like taking that video, taking his issues with the game, and then explaining in what I think would fix that from my perspective, if that makes sense. Like the map, I'll be like, the map is fixable at the moment, but if it can be done, my opinion has always been, if it can be done by some person with a skin, it can certainly be done by SSG themselves. So, why? You know, why not fix it? I think it's you know. Yeah, I might do like almost like a breakdown. I don't know. Yeah, no, again, I think overall, nothing I disagree with. And I think, I don't know, compared to other people, maybe I complain about some things, maybe a little too much, but I think the things I do have issues with are well-founded. I, for the longest time, have been saying about, let's say, the riding skill. I had a very big issue with the trait points that are now luckily fixed. Yeah. I think, yeah, it was a good video. Yeah, I certainly think there are things where, as someone who's played longer, I'm like, oh, well, you know, this is the reason for that or whatever, but I also think it's very good to have a perspective of a new player. It's something I, unfortunately, am not able to do as much as I used to, but one of my very first sort of streams, actually, was getting a friend of mine who had never played the game and seeing how they experienced the intro and seeing their opinions on the game, because I wanted to actually see what that was like. But unfortunately, I can't just go up to people in real life that I know and be like, hey, play this game, please.